welcome back to another weekly showcase of progress at the Sharkstead. I'm Mark, Anisha's behind the camera, and we're going to show you what we've been up to for the last 7 days. So we're starting around about this area, and last week we focused on the back corner. And we got rid of the vines and we got rid of most of the litter that was on the top. And you can see, if we just walk down here, there's all sorts coming out. We've got prams, just pieces of metal, and the more I pull out, the more I expose. So we're not going to go down there today, but you can see I've started taking some down to the tip, anything that's like organic, bin bagging the rest, but we can only get so much for when the bin men arrive, so it's going to be a slow progress, but we're making good progress with it. Additionally, you saw we had another trailer full of stone with help from my father over the road, and we instantly cracked on after posting the last weekly vlog and getting the footings ready. So you can see we've got some of the big ones in place. They're kind of the anchor boulders, and the string line's only halfway because we're considering doing like a cut through, because technically speaking it's supposed to be shared access from the street to her plot. I mentioned last week that there's like concrete sinks and heavy objects that used to be in the foundations of that feeding pen. See, I've brought one down there, pretty heavy, so it's quite laborious. Might turn it into like a bird bath or something like that. So currently standing in the middle of the leisure garden, the future leisure garden where the pool's going to be, and last week you could see the difference in the depth, and finally we had a good day this week. I can get out and hoe it all, level it all, and we still need to replot where the design's going to be. We can see we've followed the line of the stone and came around this corner here to try and give it, just so it can rest and settle through the winter period and try and be level for the new year. So I'm going to walk around and show you what we've been working on near the street. So the original project was if we mirror what we're doing with the raised planters and the footing walls and use the stone from the tip to rebuild the street wall, it would have given it a nice effect and would have almost wrapped around the garden. But unfortunately, this week, whilst Nish has been pulling the vines out, the old trees, grass, weed, everything, we've actually exposed quite a detrimental damage to the existing footings. And you can see here, especially this part, we've noticed the street has actually started sliding into our land because of the lack of maintenance over the last 20-30 years. It's just never been touched or rescued really, or restored. And you can see the concrete posts, they've just been bedded in on top of the white stones, and the whole thing just needs rebuilding. So it's a lot more work than what we anticipated, so it's going to be maybe excavate the whole thing, get some trenches done, some formwork, some concrete footings, and rebuild it from scratch. And unfortunately with that, you got to hire the digger to excavate the street path and rebuild that as well. So with that comes cost, time, and weather dependent. So that's maybe next year's for that. In the same kind of remit, we've got the materials to increase the longevity of the wall. Although it's not our final finish or final design with using the mud brick, we've used the resources that we've gained from taking down the outbuildings and other parts of the house that we stored over there. We shaved off half the wall, and you remember how ugly and just deteriorated it was in the previous videos, especially the house tour videos. So we've got half rounds, we used the dry mud bricks, we kind of just repaired it. And we're going to be creating like a series playlist of taking down this log store. There's fire damage in the trusses, there's leaks, it's just not built to last really. It's done its job, but it's time for it to go. So we're going to try and keep one section, mainly where the white stones are at the far end, because that's more of a hardcore base. So look out for that in the new year, maybe even sooner. We've got a lot more excavating to do. You can see the depth there that we're trying to make our way through with the hoe, but all this needs to be cleared prior to that. And that pretty much sums up what we've been up to for the last 7 days. It's getting pretty cold now, but we're inside, getting cosy with the log fire on. So next week might be a different style of video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.